Hi, thanks for coming onto the channel again. My name is Kieran. I am the owner of Taliesin Antiques. Now, I have a website which is taliesinantiques.com. This is an antiques art collectibles website where I sell my latest and what I consider to be my best current items at the best prices. So if you're interested in that type of thing, please head over and have a look, see if there's anything that interests you. I'm also a dealer in an antique centre, which is in the pumping station in Cardiff, where I have a retail store. Beyond that, I also sell on eBay at the minute, and part of this video is talking about other opportunities that I'm currently looking at. Now, I've been doing it for over 12 months full time. Before that, I was doing it a few years on the side as a part-time thing alongside my other full-time job. Okay, so what is today's video all about, I hear you ask? Well, before I get into that properly, I just want to point out, why am I in the antiques trade in the first place? Ask that fundamental question. Why did I quit my job 12 months ago and decide I'm going to do this full time? Am I just mad? Maybe so. But there's one thing that has driven me, and that's the passion I have for the items themselves. Each one is unique, different in its own way. It has a history, it has a life, and it has a story to tell. But what do we do when those stories stop connecting with the people you want to sell them to? When the business falters, when sales drop, what happens then? Now, I have learned, like most dealers, I think, that in this industry, probably like others, like art, collectibles, reselling in general, business ebbs and flows. We could speculate on why that is. We can say that it's the economy. We could say the fashions are changing. We could say that it's down to the time of year. That's definitely one that's come up quite a lot for me. But I think the best thing to do is maybe just look at our own businesses and think, what can I do about that? Now, I'll give you a recent example, which is eBay. A very important platform for me. Before I had my own website, before I even had a retail store, I had been selling on eBay, and it's what allowed me to go full time. I've always made enough revenue on eBay to justify that. What's happened recently is I've seen a massive slowdown in my views, and as a result my sales as well. It's coincided with changes eBay have been making to private fees, to the platform, the interface. A lot of things are going on that app at the minute, and potentially that's having an effect on sales. So now what am I going to do? Do I wait for eBay to recover, or do I look elsewhere? Well, that's interesting. It's very interesting timing for this to happen, because there is now another option for me, which is Vinted Pro. Now, Vinted is another reselling app in the UK, very much associated with selling clothes for private sellers. However, there is more available than that. You can actually buy homewares, so example, vases, jugs, plates. If you look around, I've got plenty of them around. And also, there's been another big development, which is Vinted Pro, which allows a business seller like myself to use their platform to sell on. That didn't launch without its hiccups. There was a massive data breach where on day one, if you signed up to it, your national insurance number or unique tax reference was being displayed to the public. Now, this did happen to me on day one. I took decisive action straight away and deleted my account, because I'm not messing around with that. I told them, look, reactivate my account when you sort this out. They have done that, and it looks like the issue's resolved, so we can press ahead. Okay, so what's the benefit for someone like me to start selling on Vinted? Well, first of all, it's the fees, seller's fees. On eBay, you're looking around 20 to 30%, whereas on Vinted, seller's fees are zero. They do have fees for the buyer, so you do have to take that into account when considering offers and your pricing. However, at least it's a lot more straightforward that if I sell an item for £20, I'm getting £20. It also solves another problem that I've been struggling with, which involves my retail shop. Now, because of eBay's fees, items which are £10, £20, £30, very nice items, I don't really bother to sell on eBay because I don't think it's worth the effort after they've taken their fee away. What I've been doing is taking those items down to my retail shop and trying to sell them there, because it's a lot more straightforward. £20 again, sell an item for £20, I get £20. However, this has caused a bit of a problem for me. Now, in my shop, I want it to be a very interesting place where people go in and they see amazing, rare, unusual items from across the world from different time periods. However, if I'm selling all my £20, £10, £30 items in there, they start to stockpile and take up a lot of space, and they don't justify, in terms of value, the space they're taking, and they're probably going to be taking away that feel, that uniqueness, that thing that drives people into the shop, because there's going to be too many of the lower value items. I want it to be a bit of a mix. So there we go. That's what I'm going to start doing on Vinted. I'm going to start off by selling or trying to sell items around those price points. I will be testing the waters with other things, because when you're in a new market, you should do that, in my opinion. Higher value items and see how they go. But that's something I'm going to be focusing on in the near future. So what am I going to be doing? What's the rest of this video? Well, I've been doing videos of myself throughout the week where I've been moving items from here, my unit, my storage unit, and taking them down to the shop, freshen it up, get some new items in there, and take out those items which I'm going to start selling on eBay. So hopefully that's a good insight if you're in the trade yourself or in a similar trade. Gives you a bit of a background view about how I run my business, some of the problems I'm facing, what I intend to do to solve it. If you're just interested in the antiques themselves, the items you're going to see, well, I promise you this, you're going to see some amazing things today. I'm going to give you footage of pretty much everything that I own, a lot of items I haven't even got around to listing yet, so it's going to be interesting, I promise you that. So have a watch. Now I'm going to start by showing you footage of my storage unit. However, before I go into that, at this point I'm going to ask you to subscribe to the channel, click that button. It helps me out, helps out my YouTube platform quite considerably, but also like the video even if you don't like it yet. Just do me a favor and click that button. Now I'll talk you through what you're seeing here. And what you're seeing is an absolute mess of a storage unit. Now what I have is 2 shipping containers which have been welded together to create an almost like office space. Now, it's a state at the minute because the summer's been so busy bringing new items in. I just haven't got around to listing things, and I've just been chucking them in here, to be honest. So what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days is I'm going to start making sure that I sort this out a lot and start to organise things and selling those items. There you can see my car, how many items I've got waiting to come in as well. So here's the car after I emptied it. Well, I'm going to say quite a lot. There are still things in there. I just wanted to show you the type of items I pick up along the way. Now here's an example of a print that I picked up. I thought it was just a nice image, even if it is a print. It's of the puffins jumping into the sea. It's probably a Welsh scene near West Wales where there are a lot of puffins. It's just a nice image that I'll put in the shop, and that'll go up for about £10 to £20. There you see the artist, which was Vernon Ward, which I believe is a known artist. I picked up this stained glass window alongside a load of other items, which I'll be showing you in a second. Now I don't think I've had one of these before, I might be wrong, but it was just something that I thought was interesting. You'll see me later on putting that actually into the shop as well. That's a massive Indian brass tray, which is another thing I'll put on the back burner because of its size. It's going to be a difficult one to sort out what to do with that, but it's a good one with good age and nice decoration on it. So here I am back in the unit, and I'm going to just show you some of the items that you do pick up along the way. Now I bought off a gentleman in Caerphilly a very nice large enamel sign, which I sold quite quickly to a dealer that I know. Now when I picked up the sign, he just offered me all these other pieces as well. Those brass fire guards there was an example. There's an iron. In fact, the window came from him as well. The deal that I did with the guy who bought the sign involved him giving me a lot of glass bottles, so I have a lot of them. This wooden plaque, which is again a very nice, interesting thing. That's not an easy thing to make, I don't think, but that also came along with the other items from the gentleman. So you just pick up a lot of these things just along the way. You don't go out looking for them, but you spot them and you realise, okay, that's actually a nice item, I can do something with that. There's a milking stool, which is another example of that as well. Now I have to be honest about this unit. How I'm managing it is not very good at the minute, and it's something I do have to address within my business. It's an opportunity cost. All these items which are not for sale anywhere, I potentially could be selling, but they're nowhere to be seen. So I have to get on top of that, whatever that takes. It has been a busy summer, not been very easy to do that at all, but that's something that I now need to address. And if that means doing more hours, that's what I have to do. Now here's another nice item, a couple of items actually that I picked up there. A pair of brass dogs in the Art Deco style. It looks like marble, but it's probably a faux marble plinth. A nice bronze there, again on a marble type base. And what I'm about to pick out is another Art Deco piece. So it's like a dog, spelted dog on an ashtray. So these were all picked up as one lot on an auction. All very nice, all going to be put for sale soon. And they're the type of things I've got just in the shop there. Now I wanted to talk about this incredible chest of drawers cabinet, which is such an unusual thing. Again, you might have seen it, you've probably seen it in my other videos, and I've had it probably too long without doing anything. What I'm just doing on the video at the minute is trying to move some massive Tongan paddle that you see there, which is not a very easy thing to move around. But this chest of drawers, just amazing. You may have seen on the side, each side has panel carvings of almost like a European type scene with children playing. There's a seagull there. The feet are just these amazing, almost like sea serpent carvings from the drawers. It looks like, and I think I film in there. Yeah, just look at the dovetails. They are manual dovetails, not machine ones, which indicates that this has some age. So what I do today is I take this item down to the shop and I'm going to show it to a dealer who works alongside me, has their stall next to me, which is Dave from Timeless Treasures. Very experienced dealer, knows a lot when it comes to furniture. I'm asking him for his advice, so I will be coming back to this one. So now what you're seeing is that cabinet in the back of my van. Now this wasn't a straightforward thing to do, and I was working alone. I was just very slow and steady when moving it from where it was into the car. No antique, in my opinion, is worth breaking your back for. Now I also wanted to show you this incredible sculpture, which is another item just sitting in my shop. Now there's more of a reason for that, which is if you look at it, it's just incredible work. It's such an amazing size. A porcelain one. I have looked at the base and it is Royal Ducks of Czechoslovakia. I haven't dated it just yet because Royal Ducks were making this type of porcelain throughout the 20th century. So I have to just work on the mark. There is one fault that you would have seen there, which is a bit of a crack along the arm. Apart from that, it looks to be in good condition. Now, for obvious reasons, I don't really want to be posting this. It'd be a very awkward and fragile thing to be sending. I do want to take it to the shop, but that might be challenging as well because of its sheer size. But we'll see. I just wanted to show you it today. So I'm recording now. A couple of the items here I'm going to be taking down to the shop, but there are some amazing things there anyway. So the first one is this jug. Now this is a Majolica jug. Majolica referring to the kind of extravagant types of pottery, particularly European, but this is actually English. It's C.H. Branham, which is a good maker from around the 1930s. That's one of those type of items which is just going to stand out in the shop, will appeal not just to people who appreciate the history and the maker, but just how it looks. It's just a nice interior design piece. So that's going down. Here are another pair of incredible pieces. These two brass kind of bottle vases. Now what they have engraved across them are different type of Arabic, Islamic motifs and calligraphy. Beautifully well shaped. Now interestingly, I did put these on eBay at one point and I put on there that they may be Persian. They were removed, and that's because there is actually a restriction on selling items from Iran, and that includes antiques and art, which is I think across the board US and the UK from what I've been researching. Now these are not necessarily Persian, they could be Egyptian or Syrian as well, but you just have to be careful when selling items from that region, whether they be eBay or elsewhere, around being specific and saying they're from Iran, because there are international sanctions against the Iranian government at the minute. And just to clarify, Persia became Iran in 1935, so when referring to the two countries, they are the same country historically. Now these are another pair of items I will be taking down to the shop. They are two wooden candlesticks which have been carved. They are contemporary. They're by Kenneth Turner, as you just saw the mark there. They have these amazing kind of beehive carvings near the base, and they have pickets as well. So they meet that brief as well for me, where they just look good without even knowing about the history of them. So they're going down there. And I'm just showing you here some of the other items I have on there. Just an amazing mix. You've got Japanese cloisonne. You have this incredible claret jug, silver plated top with the lion and the shield. That is a Victorian example. Just amazing things across this table. So there we are. And here are some more incredible items. Some of these will be going down to the shop. So that includes these two Native American pottery pieces here. Now I'll pick them up in a second. I believe them both to be mid-century as opposed to older pre-Columbian pieces. But the great thing about the pottery of the mid-century is that they are honouring the traditions and the techniques used of that period. So you have this amazing, what is called a whistling jug. It's like a salamander lizard type figure, and you would pour liquid into that, into the top, and it would generally would come out the mouth and make a whistling noise. The other one, if you go to my website, you'll see a long history of both these items and just explains what they are and what their purposes were. Just amazing things just to look at, and just very different to have on the shelf there. The other vase in the background, this one that I'm just coming to now, this is a Tunisian vase, again probably mid-century. It's going down the shop because again it has that decorative appeal which will grab the attention of people across the board. So I'm making room and taking it down there. That's actually available on Vinted as well, so that's one of the items that I am testing that market with. Okay, so what I'm showing you here is the last item to go into my car before I head down to my shop. This is a Indian Pietra Dutra, which is a marble inlay tile which has been attached to some legs to create a little table. Really stunning piece, and I've got some other Indian furniture down in the shop, so I thought, well, this is actually a great one to put alongside them and show off that style. So there we go. And this is just one final look of the unit before I head down. Now, I've taken a lot of items out, and you can see here that it's still just stuff all over the place that I do need to sort out. So that is something I will be addressing to some extent at the end of the video. Before I leave here, I just wanted to show you a couple more pieces. That's a book that I'll be reading soon. Just want to highlight bottle collecting. That's a big market, so one worth looking and doing some research into. Oh, there's the shutters closing then. So yeah, half an hour drive down to the pumping station. Yeah, a lot to do down there, new items to take in, removing some of the, the stock that's stagnated. It might stay there, I might just drop the price on some of it, we'll see. But anything I think I can just sell on Vinted for 20 quid Oz, I'll just take it away and just sell it on there. So there we go, I'll see you there. Alright, here I am then. So I'm at the pumping station, which is Penarth Road in Cardiff. It's open 10 AM till 5 PM every day, so if you have any area, you can pop in. Doesn't matter what day it is. Now a lot of people ask me, am I here all the time? Not really. I'm here about 2 or 3 times a week. I don't need to be here all the time, because if you wanted to buy anything, then there's a front desk where you would go and pay. However, if you wanted to meet me down here, that's never a problem. So just drop me a message and I'll come down especially. So I'm going to go in and have a look around first of all, before taking anything in. I'll try and get some shots in the shop. It is raining today, so I'll take some shots of the outside as well. Hopefully that comes through okay. Yeah, so let's do it. Right then, so this is the building itself, the pumping station on Penarth Road in Cardiff. It's a massive Victorian pumping station, clues in the name, and it's been repurposed into an antique centre, so you can't really find a much better setting for it. Massive building, loads of parking. If you go there any day of the week, you'll just be able to go in there and have a look around. So if you're in the area, pop on in. So I thought I'd just film walking into the shop. I tried not to get anyone's faces on there. That's why the camera angle's not always great. But this is what it looks like when you walk in through the doors. You can go right and there's stores. You can go downstairs, there's stores. You can go to these ones, which are on the base floor. I'm actually based upstairs, which you'll see a little bit of now. So you go up the stairs and then into the centre. I had to cut there because there was people looking around the shop and I didn't want to get them at all. But I'm just going to give you a tour of my shop as it looked before I made any changes. And in the background, Dave, the dealer next to me, had a 1930s record player on. So I'm going to let you have a look around. sometimes customers just bring items and move them around and put them in other stores, which is a bit frustrating, but it does happen. Got anything else coming on? Got any other songs coming on?
Oh,
Lovely.
yeah, Connie Francis was the top girl singer.
Right, so at this point it was a bit quieter, so I thought I'd show you what it looked like when you went from the stairs and just approached my shop. You've seen a few other dealers there dotted around. There's Dave's shop, and then when you walk up, I'm right in the centre. Now, I was in the process still of moving things around when I took this, so you can see some boxes and just things dotted around the place. But that's how it looks, that's the front of it. I thought whilst I was here, I could talk you through some specific items that are in the shop at the minute. There you see the Indian table I was talking about, and it's alongside this chair, which is also Indian, beautifully carved. There's a table there, and then that's actually a Chinese little stool there. This one is another Indian table, stunning piece. What I'm also showing you here is effectively a section dedicated to the masks and a few other items alongside it. I haven't been putting the prices up very well. I've just been using this QR code which takes people to the website, but as you can imagine, that not all people are going to do that or want to do that. So one thing I am doing is putting up a new price list for the masks that people can see when they're in the shop. I just wanted to show this piece here as well and talk about it. This is an incredible piece of folk art, American. It's a gourd which has just been hand painted and shows a village scene. I think it's New England, if I remember rightly. Just a really one-off, and it's just one of those type of pieces I love having there because it draws attention. Not something you're going to see in any other store, I wouldn't have thought. And here are a few other items which are now new. You see the stained glass window there. This is an Italian mid-century tiger cub sculpture. Just again, lovely interior piece. The blue vase is chameleon ware, it's called, to an Art Deco piece. This is something that I absolutely love. Very unusual, not going to be to everyone's taste, but this is actually a studio pottery bust of a coracle boatman from Carnarvon. So if you look them up, these were people who used boats in the area, and they were very specific to Carnarvon. So an incredible piece. This is another interesting one. It's a safe conduct leaflet that was dropped by the American Army after D-Day for German soldiers. So that's only available in the shop at the minute. Here we have a Victorian chair, barber's chair, in fact. Again, very unusual. That's why it meets my brief. Now here's the cabinet again that I was talking about earlier on. Now, having spoke to Dave, he was very interested in it, not seen anything like it before. We actually discovered something I missed before. That's Dave's shop, by the way, that I thought I'd just show. We actually discovered a Prince of Wales feathers on one side, which gives an indication into potentially his background. But it's such an unusual piece with so many different styles seeming to happen at once. Just amazing. So it's sitting in the shop. I'm going to look for advice from auction houses and come back to it, but it's not going to be sold in the meantime. And I just think that's a bit of advice maybe for other dealers. If you think you got something special, I think you're better off sitting on it until you know what it is and you achieve its full value, just in case. But yeah, an incredible piece of furniture that I'm very proud to own. So there we go. Right, so what I'm showing you now is actually the next day. I went back in the morning. I bought a couple of items from a gentleman, a couple of paintings, which I'll show you in a second, and I just finished off setting up the shop. Now, I'm not going to pretend it looks, a lot different to the way it was before, but it's just simple touches where I've just scaled things back and just potentially put items in more strategic places so they stand out. So this here is a collection of globes. Now, I actually own quite a few more of these which are in the store, but I didn't want to have them all out at once. They are very popular, they get a lot of interest. I'm sure they all go soon, but I bought a collection from one gentleman, so I'm very hopeful on them selling. There you see just a pair of candlesticks. What I'm trying to do at the front is just have a couple of pieces that people can pick up and have a look at, get them in the mood for what they're about to see, I suppose. There's also another nice interior piece, which is that telescope. Now it works. I don't think it sees up into Jupiter or anything like that, but but it's a decent one in terms of its use. But it's also a nice looking interior decoration piece as well. Here we have, on the left, you have a Spanish throne chair. Now in Game of Thrones, the small council scenes, you'll actually see those type of chairs in there, which is a nice little bit of interesting trivia. Whilst I'm walking around, I'm just going to show you some of the items I have in the shop. Some are just exclusive in the shop and they're not even on my website. This is one of them. It's a bronze by Emile Bouchon, late 19th century, called the Poet. Bronzes are not flying out for me like they were a few years ago. I don't know if that's just me and maybe the ones I have, but I don't know, it might be a bit of a slowdown on that front. Here you see one of the bookcases with several different items. Got West German vase there, there's Japanese pieces. I've zoomed in on these pretty ladies. These are not my type of thing, to be honest, but they are popular. They're all priced at around £15. Particularly as we get up to Christmas, I expect them to be things that people pick up and use as, as a nice little extra gifts. What we're looking at now is one of my cabinets. Now there's a few pieces in here which weren't. There's the small miner's lamp, which I talked about in another video. It's a Prince of Wales investiture one. This shelf has loads of interesting pieces. There's the Peruvian pottery, and you have some Inuit art, a Black Forest running boar, some Chinese porcelain and Japanese porcelain there. So I think hopefully it's a nice one that will capture some interest. This is a Spelter figure, which is only available in the shop. So yeah, that's again a very striking piece. There you see the Majolica jug that I previously talked about, and the Kenneth Turner candlesticks. Just another item which I thought was worth just pointing out. It's only in the shop. This is a Benedictine, I think I said that right, glass bottle decanter, which is hand painted. So just a very interesting item from France. And there you have a nice Italian terracotta, early 20th century double-handed vase that I think is available on eBay and just in the shop. So there we go. Now where these Chinese porcelain emperor figures are, that might be where the Royal Dux figure goes at some point. We will see in future. Now here's one of the paintings I bought that day. It's Raymond Whittard, who's a local Cardiff artist. I've had a few of his paintings before. He does a nice range of scenes, and I've had a pair of Spanish coastal scenes that he painted for the lady who was actually selling them to me. So they've gone in the shop, nice local pieces which I hope are going to be quite popular. There you see the Victorian window panel again. I just wanted to show you the price I'm asking, which is £95 on that. I've done some research on eBay where they go for a range of prices. Clearly depends on the quality and the imagery of the glass. But this one, where it's a bit plainer, to be honest, and what you can see is actually at the lower end of that asking price. So we'll see how that gets on in the shop. It's only going to be available in the shop as well, not on eBay, Vinted, or my website for the time being. Now here's another sculpture that's only available in the shop, which is a female nude figure, full body, incredible thing. I don't think it's linked to a particular artist, but there we go, very interesting thing. Here is the other painting, so another Spanish coastal scene. The price is slightly less on this one, even though it is larger, just because there's a few marks on the painting. Now here is the list that I said I was going to put up for the masks, with a bit of information, and just makes it easier for people in the shop if they want to buy them. I do get actually quite a lot of interest in them. I think the QR code thing has been putting them off, so we'll see if that drives them sales. Now I had to go back and get some more footage of these plates, porcelain, one Nangaru plate and the rest is Swansea porcelain. Amazing. It's really nice to have them in a Welsh antique centre as well. So on this table I have a few different items. There's a couple of religious based pieces. So you saw there the bronze of the Virgin Mary. There's an Orthodox Greek image and a carving of Moses. On this table you have some mid-century pieces. Another one of the globes there, and just the globes from a different angle. On this shelf, just a good mix of items as well, which now stand out, all in single file. I think is important. You have the miner's lamps, and a few other things. I wanted to highlight this painting, which is one I'm taking out of the shop. It's been there a while, and I think it's just an amazing piece of art. So I'm taking it back, and it will be sold online in the near future, and I expect it to do a lot better there. Just the final thing is this amazing Siemens chest, which is something I had off Edward from Antiques Arena, so an amazing thing. I'm not sure why, but I didn't take any more footage after that, so I thought I'd just finish off with a nice couple of pictures of the shop from the outside. And here's actually a video from a couple of days later. I've made some changes to this unit. It may not look like a lot of difference, but it actually is. I have moved things around a lot, and there's now a lot more space in there. So what you're going to see over the next couple of weeks is me listing more of these items I haven't got up yet, and I will try and feature them in videos I make in the future. Okay, well, that's the video today. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully that's just given you a good insight into how my business runs. And if you're in the trade yourself, maybe it sparked some ideas for you. That'd be amazing if so. And if anything else, you've hopefully seen some amazing antiques with interesting stories, maybe something you've never seen before. So what's happening next? Well, my Vinted Pro account is now active, and I've sold one listing on there, which is great for me. I am now daily trying to add more things on there, and we'll see how that goes. I'll update on the videos how that's looking in the future. What does it mean for eBay? Am I going to leave them behind? Definitely not. eBay is still, for me especially, the most important platform where I will hopefully be getting most of my sales. It is going through a blip. As I mentioned earlier in the video, it's starting to show signs of recovery. Hopefully it gets back to the way it was. I believe it will. I think they just need to make those changes and sort that out, and not get, hopefully they've learned not to focus too much on promoting listings and all that type of thing. Just get back to what they were doing before, which I think was working. Maybe they have a different opinion. So the other benefit of eBay, and I have to highlight this, is global shipping program, which means that if I sell an item to someone, say in the US or anywhere else in the world, they pay a shipping fee to eBay. All I have to do is get that item to eBay's distribution centre in the UK. They take care of the international shipping. That opens up a worldwide market to me. That is not to be sniffed at. I don't think any other platform offers anything like that. So that is another important one to be using. What about my website? Well, my website is where I will put my best, rarest, most unusual items from across the world. That's where they go first. That's where they get showcased, and that's where the best price will be. So I've still, as you may have seen in this video, and even probably behind me, I've still got lots of items which I haven't even got around to listing, which will go on the website before they go anywhere else. So that's something I'm going to be focusing on. Long term, I want every item to go on the website first. I'm just not quite there yet at the minute. So that's why I'm going to be utilising Vinted and eBay and the shop and potentially another platform, which leads me on to something else, which is Vinteria, another platform which can be used. They've actually accepted me as a seller on that platform, which is fantastic news. What I'm going to be able to do on there is actually just take listings from my website and just put them onto Vinteria. It's a little bit of a different dynamic, so I'll go on to that in a separate video when that's all up and running. Finally, just the shop. Well, as we've gone through today, I am going to continue trying my best to make that a destination for people who love antiques, unusual items. The dream is that they will go there just to see my shop, and they'll always have fresh stock. That's very important actually to highlight. Fresh stock has to be in there. If they go in a week after they went last time and it's all the same stuff, I'm not doing my job. So I need to keep being there quite regularly, just moving things around, testing new things, and just check, seeing what works and what doesn't. So there we go. That's what's happening at the minute on that front. That's it. That's the end of the video. I've spoken enough. You've seen enough. I am going to end it there. One final message. Of course, I'm going to ask you, subscribe to my channel, click that button and like the video. And finally, please leave a comment just with your feedback, whether it be on the video itself, things you've seen in the video that you think you could add to, or maybe I can improve on, or maybe even suggestions of videos I should do in the future. I am open to ideas on that front. So thank you for watching, and see you next time. Goodbye.